So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about how high you should try to get with salvia. It's not quite the same as how much you should smoke, but obviously it's a related topic. But what we're going to talk about is, like, what state are you shooting for? I actually only loaded a little tiny bit to get me in the mood. But, oh, we'll see. That might be more than I meant to load. I don't mind. Loading exactly what you want can be tricky when it's so strong. The little tiniest bit makes a difference, especially when I'm smoking as 80x, so it's strong. So I think of there as being a particular threshold. I'm not quite at it, actually. There's a certain threshold that I'm shooting for when I smoke Salvia Divinorum. It's where I can kind of fall apart. It's impossible to describe it. It's like you can fall apart into the universe. You really lose it's like you lose your foothold on reality, but only to the point of just slipping a little bit. I think of it as riding the wave. Where if you close your eyes, slow down, and it's like reality starts to get sort of pixelated, not necessarily visually. I don't have visual hallucinations very much at all. Some people do. I don't on anything, I mean, I do a little bit, but it's not a major feature of anything I may take or that I have ever taken before. And it's not a big thing with, anyway, the visual hallucinations are not a big deal. When I say it gets pixelated, it's like the world gets conceptually, it's like it's conceptually pixelated. So you're experiencing the reality. You're not taking reality for granted. It's like it's, yeah, pixelated is the best word I can think of. It's just data. Even your interpretations, you don't take the interpretations of your world for granted. So if you see a blackberry bush here, you understand there's green and there's how it feels. That's another part of the data. I just got stabbed by a thorn. The pain is another piece of data. The fact that it's on my finger and not my other finger is another piece of data. And then you also have the interpretations. You put all of these things together and you get a blackberry bush that just stabbed you in the finger. Instead of taking it for granted that this is ontologically stable, that this is what really happened, my hand got stabbed by a blackberry bush, you see it as a collection of data, and then you see a interpretation putting itself on top of all of those data sets, sort of putting them together. But the interpretation is separate from the sensual experiences themselves. And this can become, when you're right where you want to be, that feeling of everything just being data and then interpretations of data, but then the interpretation is also part of the data, it can be very disorienting because it's very real. The threshold that I try to get to is where I can easily get into that state. It's hyper objective. It's looking at your own world, your own subjective field as a subjective field. But where the threshold is that you can go all the way into that disorientation to where, like, wow, I really don't know what's going on, man. But just by opening your eyes, moving around, or not even that, just you can at will pull back into the more conventional way of seeing reality. What people end up doing, what I don't like to do, and I think it's a mistake to do, is to smoke so much that state of disorientation has like power over you. You're no longer at the threshold. Instead of riding a wave, you're sinking in the ocean. You're drowning. And what tends to happen, people always have this, I saw aliens and holy shit, man, and I'm never going to do that again. And I couldn't even move my body. There's this idea that with salvia makes it impossible to move your body. Quite a bit of salvia, I would say, makes it difficult to want to move your body. But that's not the same thing as literally, I mean, like you go to the dentist and they shoot you with, Novocaine, and you actually can't feel, right? Or like you can go numb in a limb and you literally can't move it for a little while. I can't move it well. Salvia at any dose doesn't do that. It's more of a mental thing where it's hard to like reach the notion of moving. It's hard to want to move. You're no longer relating to the world in a I am in the world and I am going to do things in the world way. You're just completely observing, and quite possibly observing from a point of really not knowing what's going on. And so moving, even reaching, it's like your consciousness can't reach your hand in order to move it. But in reality, you always can. I've never experienced literally not being able to move. And as I said, even if you did reach that, it'd be more of a mental thing, not like literally like, oh, my hand doesn't move. That's not real. So you don't want to smoke too much to get to the point where you can't come back, but you also want to smoke enough to where you can reach a state that really feels different than normal in the world functioning life. You have to smoke enough to get beyond that. And then once you're at that threat, this is why salvia actually has, I think, and I've read other people say it has a reverse tolerance. The amount that you have to smoke to reach that state will, if anything, actually go down. In fact, if I can, to a certain degree, if I'm like doing it a lot, doing it every day as a meditation, which I sometimes do and I sometimes don't. But when I'm kind of at the peak of like it really being a regular meditation, I can just open up the container and smell it. And you're not literally high, but you can remember what the state is like and then go there as a meditation. So the amount that it takes to reach the state that you want will actually go down. That's why on most of my videos I hardly smoke at all. It's because I know what I'm reaching for. I know what I'm looking for, the state itself, and it just doesn't take very much to get there. I'll say, This is my personal opinion. Other people might be a big fan of taking a lot more and really having a crazy out of body or really fantastically altered experience. Personally, on this stuff, I have never found that to be worthwhile. You just don't remember it well, and it's probably uncomfortable, and I don't have very good insights. I don't have really blissful experiences. I just don't think that smoking a lot has very much value, at least for me, and I've never met anybody who really did.